Hey, everybody, welcome in to episode 27 of the Fuzed Relativity Podcast. Coming at you on Saturday night here in this long Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
How's everybody?
big number 27, which nobody celebrates. But come on, 27.
Might as well start a trend, right?
Sure, it's the nickel anniversary. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, Bad Mama Jamma, how's it going tonight?
Bad Mama Jamma is doing good. Although I have another a moral question I'd like to throw out at the beginning right here. About 2 weeks ago, I annihilated an 8-year-old at Uno. And you guys are both parents. Basically, I was just getting good cards. You know, if you deal me 2 draw 4s, you're going down. So was I supposed to throw it? Is it okay to crush an 8-year-old at Uno, basically?
Absolutely.
Well, it just before you. In my defense, too, earlier it was before I had a job, so I actually was talking to I knew the 8-year-old since he was 3, so we've hung out for 5 years, more than half his life. And I asked him, "What job do you think I could get?" And I go, "Do you think I could be a teacher?" And his reply was, "You're going to have to know more." So I think maybe deep down, I was just like, "Oh yeah, I need to know more. I know about crushing you in Uno." So I think I might have. That was the issue I was dealing with. See, what do you guys think as parents?
Sounds reasonable.
I think an 8-year-old is pushing the limit. You know, like if it was a 5-year-old, then you're just an asshole. But 8-year-old, might be able to take it a little better.
All right, when can you beat a child? Not physically, but at a game. When is the proper age where you don't have to let them win every time?
When they start beating you consistently.
Okay, so then you have to like up your game. So when they start, you're like, I was letting you win. Your kid was like, I was letting you win. I felt bad for you.
That's already happening with Delilah, so I'm
screwed. Well, it's mainly trivia. It's really just game of intelligence and not making people vomit with odor. But other than that, you're hanging in. So I last episode there was no reference to your funk, so I had to get one early. There, we're on the board.
I appreciate that, Kirk.
Just getting out of the way. I mean, there's more coming later, but it's good to get the first one out.
Yeah.
And John, shut up. Stop talking, John. Seriously, zip it.
John, how are you this evening?
Doing good.
Are you do you get to take advantage of the long weekend, or is it just a normal weekend for you?
I do get to take advantage of the long weekend, although my stomach just hit me. So
right, well, John might be muted for a minute.
Yeah, I'll be back in just a second.
Okay. Well, Chris, what do you think? I mean, we have Labor Day weekend, but there's no what about C-section day? You know what I mean? Is that a thing? If we overlook that?
Different kind of labor, Kirk.
Okay. So now, okay. All right. It's the work kind of labor. Got it.
Yes. Labor Day.
Hey, how was your week? What are you up to? How you been?
Oh, it was a long week of work, and I'm happy to take advantage of the 3-day weekend. I always like Labor Day. I usually take the week before Labor Day off for vacation so that I can get that extra long weekend on the back end. But I used up all my vacation with Benjamin's birth this year, so I didn't get to take this week off, and that kind of bummed me out a little bit, but I had 3 months off, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, you were well rested. And it was is it paternity leave? That's what they call it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think now it's called bonding leave.
Oh, really? I've not heard that.
Yeah, they call it bonding leave. So like you're bonding with the new baby.
Right. So you're not doing steroids with the new baby. That would be very bonding. Come on. Nothing?
Sure.
As a baseball fan dad, that was a joke. Okay. If you don't laugh at that, I'm screwed. Nobody's going to. Okay.
In fairness, you must I didn't hear the berry part of it, so Otherwise,
Oh, that's the whole part. Yeah, without the berry. Yeah, damn it.
I would have laughed if I would have heard that, but yeah.
Well, we're in space, so sometimes it doesn't travel as well. And sometimes we lose it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on up there. But it's funny, we're missing John and we're like, "Hey, where do we go from here?"
Oh, I'm back.
Hey, all right.
Did you punch him back? Okay.
We were stalling. It was funny. We're like, what do we do? But we talked about bonding leave and yeah.
So, yeah, no, I do apologize about that. I have like a 50-50 chance of reacting to eggs. And today was one of those 50% chances.
What? So is that wait? You're like you have an allergy to? So it's like a flip of the coin. Sometimes you're fine, and sometimes you're.
Yeah,
like, really.
I don't know what it is, but I haven't for about 2 years almost. I didn't eat eggs at all because I was having what I thought were reactions to them. So I was like, okay, well, I just won't eat eggs. And then I had breakfast burritos because, there's only a certain amount of time that you can be without a breakfast burrito where you're like,
oh, they're delicious.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I made myself a breakfast burrito and I was completely fine. It's like, I think it has to do with undercooked yolk. Or not undercooked, but you know what I mean, when it's runny and not fully solidified.
Okay,
but
so well done. You need it well done.
I think so. I'm not 100%.
What about Eggos? Can you eat Eggos?
Eggos are fine.
Can you egg a house? If you egg your neighbors, can you do that, or is that going to break you out too?
No, I don't know what it is.
Maybe like a nice egg salad. Could you do that?
Yeah, I've had egg salads. I've had all of that with.
But why would you? Eggs? Come on, ugh, mayonnaise and ugh. I'm like, come on, let's start a movement right now. Egg salad is bullshit. Anybody who's with me?
I like egg salad, Kirk. So you can.
I was gonna say, yeah, I make a pretty good deviled egg salad too.
Oh, you guys and your mayo. Ugh.
Are you trying to say we're very white, Kirk? Is
yeah, you're as a white person in the cracker community, you guys would be the saltines, is what I'm saying. I mean, have a little bit of a Cheez-It or Ritz has a little bit of.
Well,
I was going to say,
John, I'm going to let you jump in. Last week we talked about UBI or Universal Basic Income, and you said that you had some information that you wanted to pass along and some new numbers.
I've got the numbers. I've actually pulled them up and put them out. So it's essentially just the same stuff that I said last week. It would, 7.8 billion or trillion, sorry, or 8.5 billion. I messed up the numbers. Jeez. Yeah, 8.5 trillion to give everyone over 18 in America $30 million or $30,000. I'm all over the place with these. And every kid under 18, $10,000.
So basically, what's in Jeff Bezos' couch cushions, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. The thing I forgot, and the thing I kind of thought about this week was Social Security. We already pay over $1 trillion every year towards Social Security. So that's, and this doesn't work out quite 1-to-1 because everyone that pays into Social Security, obviously, you would stop paying into Social Security and you would instead pay into this, but it still affects the bottom line of the numbers. Is that 1 trillion that's currently going to Social Security would be switched to the UBI. And the cost comes out, I don't know what it was. I think I said it was like 40% last week. But the new cost would be around 35%, which means that, a single person making 80,000 with a wife and 2 kids, after everything, would be making the family would be making 132,000. Even the single person just making 80 would still make out with about $2,000 more a year versus without it. And this doesn't factor into some other things that I wanted to do or to calculate into it, because when you have universal basic income, you don't need retirement anymore. You're guaranteed to get paid till you're dead.
When that single person made out, would they get to third base?
But because I looked at my own personal stuff, and I pay about, I had to do the math in my head. Hold on. About $400 a month, so $4,800 a year just towards retirement. And that's not even including the fact that, I'm not paying into a pension, but the company I work for is paying a pension for me. So there's all of that money as well, all the retirements, Now, I think people would still keep a 401 or 403 or, all of that. But companies wouldn't have to pay into necessarily pensions or anything like that. It could just go, more money could potentially be freed up to go into the universal basic income. Because this $30,000 is a year would be double federal minimum wage. And
sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Oh, no, go ahead.
The one thing that I found interesting was I had a few people who listened to the podcast last week, and I talked to them about it. And one of the things that came up was, if this were to ever come to fruition and we got, paid universal basic income, one of the questions that I had posed was, well, then why would I work? Why wouldn't I just sit at home and do nothing? Because you're paying me to sit at home and do nothing.
See, I know this is going to sound...
Because you're not making enough money to live. That's why.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, you'd be making enough to, potentially live comfortably with food and housing. You're not necessarily going to have a lot of money left over for entertainment or the like.
But if you have a family, you're going to burn through that money. As a single person living by yourself, living a monk life thing, maybe you could support yourself, but that's like a not fun life. If you throw a family into that, there's no possibility. You have to work.
But it deters the fact, not deters the fact. All that money you make working, if the money you're getting from the universal basic income is going towards, food, rent, bills, all that, then all that money you're making is purely just for your own use. That'll go directly back into the economy, would go directly back into entertainment. Think of how many...
It takes the stress off the financial worry of food insecurity. If you're, as a child, worried about that, and your parents are always worried about paying the rent and have unstable living condition, you're not going to do as well as somebody who doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I see the point that they're trying to make. And yes, there will be people that will say, you know what, screw it. I don't have to work anymore, so I'm not going to. The problem is there's already those people here.
There's already people not working, yes.
Yeah. So when I looked it up, there's only about 180 million out of the 255 million that are actually working at some capacity, be it full-time. And full-time was only like 140 million. So half of Americans over 18 aren't even working full-time.
Right, because their corporation goes, look, if you're full-time, then we have to give you benefits. If we keep you working at 34 hours a week, we can not give you benefits. So we're going to do that.
Well, and it's also, families. Like, how many parents have to stay at home because the cost of childcare is way too high, and there's no other way around it. They have to stay home, or it's going to cost them more than they wouldn't be making.
Right. If they went to work, all the money would be going to pay childcare, paying the babysitter, so it's a wash. So why bother?
Yeah. So the other thing that I was thinking of, because I know that's a big thing of people just won't work, but there's a large majority of them that will work just to do something. But it changes your mindset. You're not looking for a job that you're going to hate, but will make you more money. You're looking for a job you're going to like.
Right. If the financial pressure is taken off, you're like, what would I actually like doing? Could be an option.
If this is a bad example because I do really love my job as it is now, but if I had to choose between my job just for, I don't want to say entertainment purposes, but just for the ability to do a job, I would go back to pushing carts at Walmart because it was a minimal stressful job. I had a ton of time to think, and all I did was push carts around.
You're outside to fresh air. You get a little exercise, and the mind wandering is a huge thing. Because I had a couple call center jobs, and I called them mind shackles because every 40 seconds somebody new was buzzing in, so I could never let it drift. But those jobs where you could do that are a blessing.
Yeah, they're just less stressful when you don't have to focus on something. You just walk out, get carts, put them back. It makes it easier.
And you can see the you know what I mean? It's not like you're in a Quicken spreadsheet or something, or you're just bouncing computer stuff all day. You can actually physically see your work of like, oh, I did something. You know what I mean? There is that. Just to me, there's I don't know. There's a manual. Shut up, Chris. That's what he said. Chris, you can jump in. I was talking. Yeah, you haven't talked in a while. Come on.
Well, it's funny because in my head I was telling you guys before the show, I was like, let's not spend the whole time talking about universal basic income. And then John kind of steered me into the direction of it kind of ties in perfectly of you're saying you like mindless job or you want mindless job, but then what happens when those robots start taking all of those mindless jobs? Where do you go then?
Right, and you're interacting with robots in the break room. That's what you're asking.
Well, I see where he's going with this. He's talking about when the basic trivial jobs all get automated, because that's absolutely something that will happen.
I bet the softball teams will improve greatly because robots will be able to knock it out of the park. Go ahead.
But I mean, just as simple as cart return. That could all be automated fairly easily. Hell, you could turn the robots into, have the robots autonomously drive themselves back to where they need to go.
Couldn't you just put something on the actual cart and, like they're just remote control carts? Why? And then you don't need anybody.
Exactly. But there's something that could be created. Now, this is a big hypothetical. When you take care of take out all of the basic trivial jobs, which is something that is obviously coming down the line, what's left? Well, you don't have anything but higher education jobs. And let's face it, even with good education, there's still people that just don't get it. That they just can't wrap their heads around certain subjects. And even then, you're going to have an overflow of people trying to get good jobs or, get these STEM jobs or whatever. And there's still going to be people looking for jobs. The thing that's going to change is, I would imagine, more community outreach would happen. What if jobs opened up where you could log walking around your neighborhood picking up trash, stuff like that, where community improvement could become a thing or a job that could be automated but won't. Or even just
they keep saying that the population is aging and the amount of people that are going to be requiring care is growing incredibly. Robots can't do some of that. So what is just the idea of paying people a bit more to take care of the elderly, because all of their manual labor robot jobs are being taken away? It's like there's a need for taking care of old people. There is a shrinking workforce that is getting put out by robots, but they don't have the education or just the skills to do something with computers. So it's like they can help the elderly. Like it seems like it's a problem solution.
Well, and that's just it. Not having jobs will open up more opportunities for work. Like I said, clearing trash or, organizing community community events, or even just watching kids. It's stuff that right now costs a lot because it's required. What if it wasn't the only necessity anymore?
Childcare is a big crisis right now. We were talking about, a lot of women can't go back into the workforce because that's the reason why they're not going back, because they can't afford to pay somebody to watch the kids while they're, making $13 an hour.
Well, and that's me and my wife's problem right now. Well, not problem. We've kind of found the solution to it. But because of our odd schedules, if our kids went to regular school, they would not be, there would be times where neither one of us would be available to pick them up. It's better now than it was when this problem first cropped up, but
can't you just show him Home Alone and say, "Figure it out, guys"?
Well,
look at him. He's 7. He's figuring it out. You guys can knock it. Like, how old are they?
He's a crafty young kid. He can handle Robert.
Right. It'll make him street smarts and not just book smarts. That's what I'm pitching to you. The Home Alone home security system for children.
Well, and see, for people our age, that's not that, we view that as not an issue. Because I remember being 7, and I think I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I remember being in elementary school and having to sit outside the school and wait for like a half an hour for someone to come pick me up.
Or walking home at 8, and I had a key. I had one. I had a keychain with one key. Remember that age? That's the only thing you needed. But
we grew up in a small town, Kirk. We never had, the doors weren't locked.
You didn't even need a key. All right. Well, I grew up in the big city of Phoenix, or Glendale. Kids today, I don't think parents would let an 8-year-old walk home for 7 blocks or 5 blocks. Do you think they would actually let it slide?
No. Me and
Why
Chris. Why
not? They can walk.
Yeah, me and Chris used to walk, and our brother David, we used to walk from our home almost it was close to like a mile and a half to the elementary school.
Yes, somewhere around there.
And
I remember
anything ever happen? Any bad thing ever happen to you guys?
Yes, we got chased by a bull.
Yeah, by a bull.
All right, well, I'm on the bull side. The bull is right. But anyway, you guys are wearing red, and you're bastards. You need
No, it had gotten out of its... It was a path we always took because it was a shortcut. Well, kind of a shortcut. We had to cross train tracks that didn't have a road. But we went down this, and there's just a bull sitting in the middle of the road that had somehow gotten out.
I would just like to point out, John, that I was the smart one that said we should jump the fence into where he got out of, so that we could successfully get around this bull. They're like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, you guys do what you want. I'm getting on this other side of the fence.
Yeah, that's how we got past it. I do remember that.
Yeah, that bull charged us like a mofo.
Yeah. But that was something that wasn't frowned upon back then. Nowadays, absolutely not.
All right, and I walked home all the time, and the worst thing that happened, one day it rained. It actually rained in Arizona, and I was walking home, and a high school kid rode. He was driving his car, and he came close to the curb just to splash me. So I was just like soaking wet. That was the worst thing that happened walking home for years. You know what I mean? Boo-hoo, nothing.
I mean, I've had stuff thrown at me from teenagers.
Teenagers are dicks. They do stupid stuff. You can't stop teenagers from being dumbasses.
See, and I don't remember what age I was. Chris, I'm sure we were probably under 10. We would walk to the local, what was it, Quickie Mart? Or Quick Mart?
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we'd gather change, walk down. It was probably close to half a mile from our house, buy candy, and walk back.
Didn't even need to deal with Bitcoin. Had no idea what Bitcoin was.
Still don't. Fine.
I think it's. I always picture when they say Bitcoin. I don't think this is right, but I always picture those little chocolate coin circles with the gold foil. That's what I picture when they say Bitcoin.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty
that's
close.
what I picked. I was gonna say, I think that's what I pictured too, Kirk. So well done.
Exactly. And to be honest, unless you're a comedian, you shouldn't be able to use Bitcoin. But anyway, back to what we were talking about.
I think we kind of went off topic a bit there, but
We did. I was speaking more. We kind of jumped off the track there, but I was speaking more towards what it's going to be like in the initial onset of robots taking over jobs, because it kind of to me seems like it is going to happen with the sooner than later with the amount of technology that has been coming out. And so my question is like, what are you going to do when the person you're standing next to at the water cooler isn't a person, it's a robot?
Throw water on them and you short circuit them, and then you get a human to replace them. That's what you do.
that could be effective. Yes.
Well, and what do you think about this theory? I think, to be honest, the first tangible place where I can see robots physically replacing people that we all see is at the grocery store. Every time I go to the grocery store, there are literally, it's like there's 10 registers. One of them is opened, but all of the self-checkout is open. It's like you're getting pushed into using the robot instead of the person. They want you to ring up your own kumquat and punch in the number. They don't, you know what I mean? Don't you feel like that? Like you're getting, that's the first place where I can see it in everyday life.
Oh,
Yeah.
and yes, I mean, that's technically a robot, but that's been around for years, and theoretically it's just a faster way to get people through the checkout lines, especially if you don't have much stuff.
Well,
But
Right, if you got a handful thing, it's good. But yeah, if you got a bunch, screw it. The bags always fall. You know what I mean? Like if you got one thing, perfect. But if you got a bunch, I'm going to the person.
But
yeah.
I think my question more is like, what's the relationship going to be with robots and humans? Specifically, like, let's say you work a warehouse job and 50% of the workforce is human, 50% of the workforce is robot. In a real world, I know that robots aren't going to take breaks like humans will, but how are you going to interact with a robot that you're working with? And we were talking, me and Kirk, the other day, and I was thinking about that movie. I still don't know the name of it. John, maybe you do. It was with Joaquin Phoenix, where he fell in love with a computer.
Trying to think.
Come on, John. How do you not know this, Mr. Pale Computer?
So,
Jesus Christ! The guy falls in love with the computer. It's the John story.
I am horrible with actors and faces and all of that. Like
It
was Her. The name of the movie was Her.
All right. Well, you're horrible with your own face. But boom. Okay. Anyway, sorry, that was a softball.
But so that's kind of my question is like, will you work with a robot next to you? Like, will you become friends with the robot? Or do you think that people will just like despise the robots and figure out ways to sabotage them and make them less efficient?
Here, I pose a better question for you. I guarantee you're already working with a robot. How are you dealing with it?
Do I know about this robot or not?
Do you use GPS?
I do not.
Oh, well then never mind.
Okay then.
But
take that, John.
My point being is, you see where I was going with this, right?
Yes.
People that are delivering packages already use GPS, which is technically a robot. Because if you go back far enough, like when I was a firefighter, someone's job in the truck was always map reading, because you can't know every street in a city. You can know a general layout, but you need the maps in order to do it. So you had, a map reader that was in the cab telling people where to go. And
sure. So the Fire 8, they don't use Waze? Basically, do you think they've updated since it's how long has it been?
12 years since I was in any sort of EMS vehicle. But I know.
You would think there's a screen telling them where to go.
Oh, absolutely. There absolutely is now. That is 100% a thing that's happening. You know, they don't have this massive map book of the city anymore. They have a GPS.
Right.
And same with, I'm trying to think of other robots in the workforce. But I mean, you could technically say your computers are robots. Because I mean, that's what they are. They
Yes,
don't do anything.
but I'm also talking about the more tangible. Like, yes, the computer is a robot. GPS, you could say, is a robot. But I'm talking about when you've got Spot the dog working right next to you. How are you? You know, what's the interaction going to be?
You
Like,
know what?
Well,
I bet the robots always guess the baby pool because they're smarter than us, and everybody that's what will piss everybody off. They're always winning the baby pool. Screw these robots. Let's take them down.
robot
Well-
doesn't even need money. What the hell?
well, and
You can always get more bling. Come on, Jeff Bezos doesn't need more money. He's making it.
with your example of Spot, it's tangibly already in effect. I mean, if you look at a lot of the feeds with SpaceX down in Boca Chica, Spot's become kind of like one of the personalities down there. You know, there's people that are looking specifically for that robot because it just wanders around doing whatever every day. I mean, they had another one. I think it was the New York Police Department that was trying to use one of those, and that garnered the opposite attraction because people were absolutely mortified that New York Police Department was using a robot.
Well, they can't even let people wander around and do whatever. Like they're automating that, for Christ's sake.
Well, and I think in that specific circumstance, they were using it more for surveillance, much like they already do with kind of those robotic, not even drones. They were just RC cars that were really, really fancy.
So you're a criminal. You're looking around. You're seeing. You look over there and you see a guy. You're like, oh, that might be an undercover cop. And you look over there. He's like, there's a robot dog. That's not alarming, really.
Well, and yeah,
that seems more. As if I'm committing a crime, if I see a robot dog, I'm like, I'm going over here. That could be Robo Doggers. You know, I don't know, but that seems sketchy.
Yeah. I think the major problem with this whole concept is Chris is thinking the robots like Elon Musk announced 2 weeks ago, the ones that are like humanoid looking and will be walking around doing stuff and potentially answering questions. I think we already have a good potential representation of that with just movies. You know, I don't think it'll go full Will Smith's iRobot where they turn and go red and trying to kill everyone. But it's going to be the people that are going to hate the robots are going to hate the robots. The people that realize that they're there just to make jobs easier aren't going to care. And it's going to be more of just an integration. Because I mean, look at car lines now. I was trying to think of the word for that. They have robots that go through and put almost everything together, and then there's just a human that's, you know, checking boxes or, you know, putting down a floor mat or something, and that's it. You know, I was watching.
Right, but we've already outsourced so many manufacturing jobs. Like, how many more jobs are we, like, at a certain point? How many jobs can you eliminate and not be able to replace them? I think that's a fear of a lot of people. Where it's like, yes, these robots are taking jobs that are physically demanding that people may not like, but they're still jobs that some of them pay decent, and now you're just removing them, and it doesn't seem like they're being replaced with anything other than, you know, telemarketing, call center bullshit jobs, or driving people to food or food to people. Like, that seems like the only jobs left.
And those potentially won't even be around for that long if Domino's has any luck with their
robot cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
John, I told you, do not bring that up.
but so and this is a little bit of a darker take. I know Chris was trying to be all light and yeah. So the other thing to consider when automation is look at the manufacturing in America as it is. They moved to China for it to be cheaper. And now that China is catching up to where we were when we started moving, China's already looking to expand into Africa. And it's only going to be so long before Africa is, up to the same scale as China. And
right, and the customer service phone jobs have already been shipped to India, mainly it seems. So it's there's what jobs are left?
Well, and those will potentially not even last that long as it is, because they'll just get moved to another place where it's cheaper to do the work instead of paying.
Not to mention all the robocalls.
Yeah, that's the problem we have, is that every company is going to ultimately look for the cheapest way to get something done. I shouldn't say every company, most companies.
Right. No, and that's what kills me, when corporations go, we're a patriotic corporation. It's like, really? It seems like a patriot might stay in the country that you are based in and pay people a livable wage instead of finding the cheapest labor throughout the country. That seems patriotic to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, even look at Tesla. Tesla built their battery factory in Utah, despite the fact that it would cost a whole lot more than if they had built it in China or wherever they were getting their lithium from.
Henry Ford paid his employees. He realized if he paid them enough, they would buy the product that they made. So once again, like if you pay people, they can buy the stuff that you make. So it's good for your business.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. This is a topic that has so many facets because we're already heading off the original topic again.
Well, and it's kind of funny because I'm thinking more along the lines of thinking about that movie that I was talking about where the dude falls in love with a computer because, the computer is programmed to answer his questions perfectly or whatever. Whatever the premise was, I never actually saw it. But, when you have robots working right next to you, are you going to, like you said, some people are going to hate them and not want to accept them. But how many people are going to look at them as a coworker and be like, "Hey, Bill the robot is he's good people."
I think they look at him as an appliance, and like not for nothing, like you hate who's close to you. So you just hate, you know what I mean? Like if it's a person who's next, you're going to hate your office mate. They're going to get on your nerves. Anybody you interact with is going to irritate you. So what's the difference from a robot?
Well, but let's look at, like, you used to plant trees, right?
Yes.
So Mike, the robot, jumps out of the truck and digs the hole. Are you going to hate that guy?
No. I'm not going to hate that guy because I was going to have to dig that hole if he it's whoever has more enthusiasm, knock yourself out. You know what I mean? Like if you are fired up to dig a hole, I'm not going to stand in your way.
But that's what I mean is you've got people. I just kind of got the sense that people will learn to like the robots, and then doing
technology, it makes it easier. Anything that makes people's lives easier, all of your art, like, oh, people are lazy, people don't want to work. If you make it easier, any appliance that makes it faster, quicker, easier, blah blah blah. Yes, and like as soon as they figure out how to use it, they'll be down for it. I have no doubt.
Well, and that's a good analogy to this is that technology throughout especially the last like 30 years. There's certain groups that just refuse to use it, and I mean, how many people didn't want to switch to computers and rather stayed on, keyboard or not keyboards, typewriters?
Right, they're a fad. It'll just go. It's like pet rocks. The computer it'll go away.
Oops. Same with smartphones. I mean, how many people still had old, dumb phones up until, they practically just stopped making them?
I know at least one person who still has a landline, so... Well, actually, I know two people. So.
Are they over the age of 70?
No comment.
All right. I'm just.
I mean, that's the thing is, even nowadays, like, I have seen it with elderly people that, still had those flip phones from 2000. Nowadays, it's all smartphones. And it's honestly kind of comical sometimes watching them trying to use it.
No, what's comical...
Go ahead, John. Yeah, go ahead.
What's comical is that they're actually trying to go back to flip phones, but that's
yes. But
I'm 70 years old. Just give me a phone that has 4 buttons. I don't need to surf the web. I don't need to, you know what I mean? I'm not on TikTok. Just let me call 911 when I keel over. That's what I need.
Well, they have bracelets for that now.
Yeah, so you don't even need that, Kirk. That's narrow-minded thinking. Some people like to be on TikTok when they're older.
I was going to say, this has nothing to the point, but they have airbags for old people.
Yeah, we talked about that before on the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you think? I think the inventor of the airbag was really into Jiffy Pop. What do you guys think? That's my theory.
But, it seems like a fairly interesting topic. I know we've bounced all around it, but I had the thought this week. I have a lot of brain time while I'm doing my job, so I get to think about all this stupid crap, and then I spew it out.
Time. You have more time than brain. Let's be honest. Okay, sorry.
Well, everybody already knows that, Kirk. But during my time of thinking, I get to think about these stupid things and then spew them out on a podcast, which people listen to. But I started thinking about the relationship between robot and worker, and I said, I wonder, just out of curiosity, what it would be like if you had a robot sitting next to you at your job. Would I hate it, or would I try and become friends with that robot in a sense?
Well, I think you'd friend it up, and I think it's just going to lead to a lot of different weird porn in the workplace. It's all going to be robot. Your robot stepsister. It's going to be creepy.
Well, way to take it that way, Kirk. But
all right, John, take it a different way. Go.
Yeah. You killed it, Kirk. Ow.
Just a little.
Just one of those things that I thought about, and I said, it's a compelling argument because theoretically, they don't want robots to have any kind of personality. Robots are designed to do a job. And, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen this. At some stores here in Denver specifically, they've been using robots to clean the floors.
I was going to bring that up earlier. The Walmart ones.
Yeah, Walmart.
Is it they just kind of go up and down the aisles, just and he's like, don't go down that aisle. They have signs put up or something? I haven't seen that.
No. Well,
no, they drive around like just normal. Like, we've had it happen when we were shopping. And honestly, the damn thing almost ran us over, which was a little bit sketchy.
Well, the video I saw, you could also ask it questions.
You can talk to the cleaning man robot.
Yes.
No, the one that we encountered was like a Zamboni, like small scale Zamboni that was just driving around cleaning the floors. And I literally had to because it stopped when it saw people, because that's what it's designed to do. But it kept wanting to go forward even though we were standing there. And it got to the point where it's like, dude, we better get out of this thing's way. Otherwise it's just gonna keep coming. And
in the robot's defense too, it was smelling feces, so it thought somebody was let a dog in there. So there's a mess it had to clean up, but it was just you. So I think you were partly to blame.
That one hurt, Kirk.
Oh, good. It's nice you still feel good.
Well, I was going to point out they also inventory. They're scanning inventory to see what needs to be replaced.
Oh, they're pulling double duty?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was my impression of why they went into service to begin with. I'm assuming the cleaning aspect was just a if it does clean. I didn't think they did, but that could be something that was added.
I'm picturing like an R2-D2 kind of thing. Was it sort of like that or not at all?
No, like so this happened to be at Sam's Club. Have you ever seen like the guys who would drive around on the cleaning carts? Like it looked like a small Zamboni.
Like a mini street sweeper with the brushes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. It was just a little street sweeper, and it was driving around, and every time it would see a cart or a person, it would stop and correct its course. But this particular one seemed like it didn't want to correct its course. Like it was like, get out of my way.
Was it busy texting? That's irritating. Well, come on, robot. What are you doing?
But either that or it just didn't know where to go. It could have just been that it didn't know how to get around. But I felt like it was to the point where I was like, let's let it pass so that we don't have to be stressed out by this robot.
Right. Let's just take the possibility of getting run over by a robot out of the equation. Smart move.
Yeah. So, that's clearly an infant technology, one that we, they're still trying to figure that one out. But, could I walk by that mini street sweeper one day and be like, hey, what's up, Frank? How's it going today?
I mean, probably. My opinion is there's going to be a divide. There's going to be the people that want it to have a personality and the people that don't.
Well, because I don't want it to have a personality. That's, I'm the guy who's like, if it's a robot, make it do its job. And
the people doing those jobs now, how often do you walk by them and not acknowledge them? So it just seems like it'll just be no one's going to acknowledge the robots. They're just going to act like they're not there, just like the person, with the weed whacker. You just, you don't say hi to him. You're not going to say hi to a robot.
Well, and to further bring up the point, do you still have your Alexa, Chris?
I do.
And that has a personality.
I know, and I hate it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I mean, I use mine quite frequently because I've kind of gone the route of doing the lights in every room that are controlled, mostly because it makes it easier for me to, well, it's mostly for the kids, but I also use a ton just for timers and stuff like that.
Like the other,
but how does it develop a personality? Like I tell it to play music and I do timers. I don't and I like word of the day, this day in history. Like what I don't get how it gets a personality.
The fact that it has a voice.
I learned this the other day too, Kirk. If you say thank you, it will say you're welcome. So
see, the thing to differentiate is most machines are going to have at least this level of personality equivalent to Alexa, where you can ask it questions and it will respond. It is not going to have a personality where you can ask it abstract things and it'll give you its thoughts.
It's not going to come up with a witty zinger.
Yeah, it's going to be programmed to have a basic personality akin to Alexa.
Well, isn't it sad? It's just another way that people are getting replaced. Like they feel like they're getting some sort of bonding thing with Alexa, and then it's just like, I can just hang with Alexa instead of interacting with people. That went dark.
Well, that was that movie. The guy got, he was in love with his computer, like a legitimate, like, soulmate kind of thing. It was weird. I never watched it, but that's probably why.
So your reference is a movie you never watched? That's interesting. That's an interesting strategy.
There was a lot of trailers, and I got the gist of the movie.
You got the... Okay, all right. You saved $8. Well done.
Probably well deserved. No, didn't need to see that one.
There's a lot of movies where it's like you would have to pay me. to go watch that and waste 2 hours with that. Like to go, I don't know, to whatever the new comic book movie, I think you'd have to give me $40.
I was really happy when I saw Shrek in the theater. So
Shrek was hilarious. Shrek was funny. A lot of jokes.
Yeah. Not just for the kids.
Nope. I think that it was nice when Pixar and that, like, they started making those Toy Story movies where it was enjoyable on several levels. Although Toy Story makes you cry, so screw
Toy Story 3 was the most god-awful movie ever. And have you seen it, Kirk?
I don't think I saw the third. I know I saw the first two, but I think I missed the last one.
Do not watch Toy Story 3 because as a grown man, you will cry your eyes out. It's terrible. It was stupid, and I hate that movie.
Okay. Was it just because it was so expensive?
No. Dude, so at the end, these toys... No, spoilers. Spoilers, everybody. Kirk, I don't know if I can paint this correctly, but at the end, you know how the toys are like alive and they, do their thing? They are going down a conveyor belt towards an incinerator, and they all look at each other and they hold hands and they're like, well, it's been real, guys.
Oh, they went out as a unit, as a platoon.
No, they ended up getting saved, but
okay. But just that moment that hit you.
Yeah, oh god, it was heart-wrenching. No, thank you.
All right, this has been an episode of What Makes Chris Cry. Which, surprisingly, not his body odor. He's just gotten used to it, folks.
I was cutting an onion earlier, and I had some tears going. So.
The onion started to cry. That's the problem. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Chris stinks. Anyway.
Well, it's nice that we didn't get any last week, so that you could pepper them this week.
Yes, you're overdue.
Well, John, we've gone off track. We've talked about lots of different things. How about we go over to Kirk's Corner and see what he's got this week?
So everybody loves a corner. What do we got, John?
I will say, because of the other stuff we're working on, I did not get to anything in this week, so we still just have the beer in the boxes.
Oh, it's got to be stale by now. But
it looks like we're moving. There should be like an empty pizza box because that's always the bribe. Come on, pizza. I'll give you pizza.
Well, now that you guys know why the whole moving boxes are there, it makes more sense.
Yes, we. All right, we are on board, John. Sorry, we dropped the ball on that one. But is the UFO coming too? That's all I care about.
That's a good question.
The geese, they can fucking stay. I don't
care.
So
do we have an estimated an ETA on the new corner in space? Any idea?
Hopefully, since I'm off Monday, I may have a lot of stuff done.
Ooh, that sounded kind of promising. So come on. So again, that's a nice thing to tease.
Teaser alert.
The Kirk's Corner in space. It's got to be even funnier.
All right, Kirk, what you got?
Well, this week it's sort of random wordplay. It's a little random, and then I have like two lists that I thought were fun at the end. So just another step into my noggin. Are you guys ready to step into Kirk's noggin? Are you guys
go for it?
All right. So and let me know what you think. So so here we go. The first one: the lazy river did not give a hydroelectric dam. Hey-o, come on. That was lazy. Couldn't even push the turbines. Bullshit. All right. Next one. Flower Power is a great name for a hippie bakery. And it's spelled O-U-R. Come on. In Denver, if Boulder doesn't have this, they're stupid. Like but come on. The Flower Power? Come on. $1 million idea. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. And in that same vein, deflowering a baker is wrong. Just wrong. Never deflower a baker. It's his livelihood, people. Okay. After April showered, she received more flowers. Okay, just a little hygiene tip for the ladies. If you're not after quarantine, you want to meet a fella, little water and soap. Okay. I don't know about you guys. I think the NBA peaked when mascots started dunking. Anybody? You guys? No, you don't care. Come on, they jump on the trampoline. You don't remember the mascot dunking? That was a huge thing.
I don't think I've ever watched a NBA game in my life.
Oh, geez. Okay, YouTube mascots dunking. It's a trampoline. It's a whole to-do. They come from.
They needed a trampoline. It's bullshit.
Well, yes, they're little gymnasts. They're not giant basketball players. You would need a trampoline too. All right, so you guys weren't. How about this one? If you're only having manic Mondays, you're doing pretty good. Okay. Okay. This one. If John doesn't laugh, I don't know. My avatar got covered in feathers. I was avatared and feathered. Okay, come on. All right. Okay. Idaho. Everybody in Idaho wants to be run by a dictator. Okay, they like spuds. Okay. All right. Here's my list here. Okay, this one is the more honest names for the crisper drawer. These are more honest names for the crisper drawer. First one, vegetable coffin. Okay. Next one, let's throw that out. After that one, we got out of sight, out of mouth. That was heady. And the last one, whatever the hell this is, it can't be good anymore. That was too long to fit on that drawer. Okay, and here's my second list here. That wraps her up. These are failed MTV Unplugged follow-ups. Remember MTV Unplugged? Huge. Anytime something's big, they would play acoustic. But whenever something got popular, you always got to have the spin-off. So these are the ones that didn't go. Electric chairs Unplugged. Okay. Refrigerators Unplugged. Hair plugs Unplugged. That was just painful. Glade plugins Unplugged. That was it defeated the whole purpose of the plugin. Shower drains.
If I was in the room.
Well, yeah, the smell. And then there's they're like, well, we have to plug this in, and then they would unplug it, and like, oh my god, we smell Chris, we're leaving, and then we're gonna go watch Shower Drains Unplugged. Nobody watched that. That wasn't a good one. And then last one, nursing home patients Unplugged.
Oh,
okay. So come on. So just a little random bits there. Any of the list? What sticks out? Any fan favorites or something you guys had an extra idea about? Dictator, Idaho.
Yeah,
come on, how fun! Like no governor, no mayor. We're run by a dictator because we love spuds. I can't believe they haven't. As a goof, somebody needs to do that.
I thought the lists were great, Kirk. I really did.
Oh, well, thank you. So there's another Kirk's Corner. You know what? You never know what's going to happen next week. It could be an old crappy job. It could be a list. It could be brain bits. You don't know, and I don't either. I haven't wrote it yet.
And I know for a fact you will not have a glass of water. So.
Yeah, that's look, Kirk's. Hey, even in space, you're not going to give me water? That seems extra mean. You know what I mean? Like, come on, John is a heartless bastard. Anyway.
Yes.
I like no defense and then complete agreement from a relative. That was great.
That's how we roll.
Kirk's Corner. What are we going on to now? What's the next thing?
Well, I think we go off topic, I suppose. I mean, we're not quite as long today, but I think that's all right. Like I said, I was trying to keep it a little lighthearted. We got on
we
economy.
Went super dark, as always.
Right. Yeah. I blame John. Anyway, he started it.
And yet you finished it. But
he got the ball rolling. But what do you got, Chris?
We'll save mine for the end. And John, how about you go first?
So I sent the link to you guys, but it is some research being done on if mammals can breathe through their butt.
I got about 5 solid minutes of laughing out of that article that you sent over. It was pretty funny.
Well, and from
This is definitely a medical article because it repeatedly said "but." It seems like there's a medical term for that, right?
Well,
rectum,
anus, yeah.
Just but that was the part I read it. Just but just kept popping out at me. But yeah, so
the whole
tell what's it about.
So the whole principle of it is that most mammals absorb most of the nutrients that we need in our colon. Not colon per se, but large intestine, that area. And they're doing trials to see if by pumping oxygen or liquid oxygen, which I didn't understand that part because liquid oxygen is cold, if it would transfer to the blood and be able to oxygenate the blood. And I think they found that in rats it was working.
I read the article and then I told my wife about it, and her response was, "Those poor lab animals."
Yeah, no, I agree, because the whole procedure sounds horrifying to begin with, because they go in and scrape the tissue off the large intestine before they start oxygenating, which it doesn't sound painful or pleasant. And then I'm assuming
they got to puff up like a Macy's Day balloon or something.
That was my thought too. It's like, well, that's all well and good, but you, in my job, when there's a lot of air in the intestines, that's a bad thing. And I can see where they were going with the research. The whole thing was trying to tie, like, oh, there's a ventilator shortage. What other ways could we potentially oxygenate people? I don't think that's going to be the first choice.
Are you blowing smoke up my ass? No. Are you blowing liquid oxygen up my ass? Yeah, maybe. Could be.
What's
it to you?
Guys, we got 2 choices. We can either ride this out, or we can put some oxygen up your ass.
Inflate you like the Macy's Day balloons.
Right. Guys, Doc, I gotta be honest. I'm just gonna take my chances.
Look, you've been blowing air out of your ass for years. Has it helped you? Let's try something different. Let's blow air up your ass. What? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
yeah,
why in the waiting room? Can we go and do a?
I mean, I understand the principle of the research, and I just don't think there's a medical necessity for it. I mean, I could be wrong. There's stuff that'll definitely change.
I like you say you could be wrong, as if everyone listening thinks this guy's infallible. Until you say God, that. No. Unless you let them know you could be wrong, they're like, everything this say is a genius. You know what? That's a bit cocky, John. I gotta say. That's a bit cocky move.
Let's hope not. But I do think it's funny anytime you see a medical story that comes along and they're like, hey, because they had people who like volunteered. They're trying to do clinical studies based off the article you sent over, that people are like volunteering to go in, like breathe in a mixture of gases that puts them in hypoxia so that they could have like an oxygen enema. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not one of those people. Don't know.
Those trials, I would assume those trials usually pay decent money. Because, the risk of fucking dying is pretty high. I'm assuming it wouldn't come to that, but...
Look, if we had universal basic income, nobody would have to have air blown up their ass for science. That's all I'm saying.
And, I mean, those poor mice. Just saying.
Just living life, then suffocating, then blown up like a balloon, and then pop.
You got the mouse over here who's, they're giving cocaine to, and then you got the other mouse, and he's like, wait, can I go to that study?
Oh, you think they can volunteer? This is whoever like raises their hand for, that one. No, not that one.
Not that one. Nope. Well, John, I did get quite the kick out of your story that you sent over, and I appreciated it. Should be good for at least a couple days of laughter. every
And
time.
I don't know. I don't know what that says about your algorithm that you found that story. But,
It was
a
just
little
a
weird.
top post on Reddit.
Sure. We'll just believe that.
Because I mean, honestly, the tag to the article was, "Can you breathe with your butt?" And I mean, how could you not click on it?
I can't.
Exactly.
I can beatbox. I can't breathe.
Hey, Kirk,
I don't even know what that means.
what you got with your off topic this week?
My off topic. It was about it was in Texas. A mobile home got abandoned in the middle of the road. Just sitting there, no tow vehicle, no nothing. And like the sheriffs are asking if anybody knows hey, who owns this house? You can come pick it up. But I just a couple of things. First of all, if the house isn't claimed, it's going to end up in a shelter, which is just, it's for the shelter for abandoned houses. I just think they're going to put a bunch of dogs in there, all the abandoned dogs. Problem solved. What else do I got here? To be honest, I think here's a house in the middle of the road. I blame the obesity crisis. Hear me out. Back in the day, kids would get upset and they'd run away from home. But now they're so overweight, the house has to run away.
No.
All right. All right. Home wreckers, okay. Home abandoners, what? Okay. And okay, this actually happened to you, Chris, I'm guessing, because your neighbor's houses couldn't stand the smell either. And they ripped itself up from the foundation, settled down in a nicer place next to the slaughterhouse made of farts.
You're laying it on thick, Kirk.
All right. How about, okay, so for the house on Zillow, it's listed for $400,000. Great location, no neighbors, small roadkill problem, but it's doable.
I think claiming that on the insurance might be a little tough.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, they're like, we're not going to cover you. Aw. Okay, well, that was it. Those were the jokes for that.
Well, and Kirk, my off topic this week, just because I could, and I wanted to keep it a little light and airy. This was my off topic because who can't look at this? And
is that a monkey? Is that a Halloween costume?
That is, well, yes, but that was just my daughter deciding she found a monkey costume and she loves it. So that is my daughter as a monkey.
That's all right. That's Dave. Yes. I like how she just found a monkey suit in your place. Like that was just laying around.
Yeah, I don't even know where it came from. Somebody must have given it to us.
She's you know what? She talked one of her friends out of it because and we've discussed before. She might be a flim-flammer. I think you're raising a huckster.
Well, yes, but an awfully cute monkey huckster.
Oh, adorable. Yes, exactly.
So I figured what better way to end an episode than to look at that face in a monkey costume, because why not? Bring a little cheer to the podcast.
A little positivity. Take that, internet. Something nice.
Yes, and she does a whole ooh ah ah dance too. It's awesome.
Nice. Does she scratch her head yet and have a monkey face? Because that's the next move. If you could choreograph that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, I don't want her to be exactly like a monkey, but
no, yeah. I'll help you. Okay, next time I come over, some monkey lessons. I got this.
You're not coming over. Actually, you know what? She'll kill me if I say that because you bring crispy treats. So,
right. I bring her sugary snacks, so I am A-okay.
Yes. And with that, I think we will end the podcast. And, hopefully next week we'll have a little bit even cheerier topic than... I'm trying to keep it light.
We got the darkness out. We got the darkness out of our system. We're going to take two. All right, next week for sure, folks.
Oh, we forgot to mention that Jeff Bezos is still a dick.
Yes.
Just
In case you forgot. Yes.
just in case everybody forgot. John, I forgot to mention, I was going to bring it up on the podcast, that Elon Musk tweeted out that Jeff Bezos' only job, now that he's retired from Amazon, is to sue SpaceX over contracts.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
What a whiny little bitch. I have billions. I need more billions, so I'm going to pay lawyers millions instead of just being nice and giving to charity. What an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but any shot we can take at Jeff Bezos, we might as well. So
Right, just don't order Amazon every other time, folks. Just try to skip one as a little protest.
John, I forgot. Were you gonna do the other thing for the?
Yes.
Oh, we have one more thing, people.
Well, I was gonna. So after we wrap up this episode of the podcast, this will be for people that have stuck around. We have a little clip that I was gonna play that is kind of introducing a series that we're gonna start on our YouTube channel and possibly Twitch, or not Twitch, because we're on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm hoping we can fit it in all those places, but it's going to be a hypothetical question which we pose an answer to. Will it be right? It's going to be a lot of fun to do.
That's true. You are infallible. We did discuss this.
Yes, and as we discussed in the last episode or the previous one, I can't remember. We are making a lot of content at this moment. We have a lot of things on the burner. This happens to just be one of them, and should be fun. But we kind of got a little bit of a teaser preview going on, and hopefully everybody will check it out. When are you playing that, John?
Just as soon as we wrap up.
Okay. So that will do it for us this week. John and Kirk, thanks for joining us. Kirk will be, we're going to try and, little programming note, we're either going to try and do a little earlier next week because Kirk has a concert that he's going to. So we're either going to try and do a little earlier or Kirk won't be here. Hopefully we can just do it earlier and it won't be a big deal. But that's where we're at. What can we say?
It is what it is. This can be flexible.
Yes, we can be flexible.
Look, people, we're giving it away for free. Get off our backs. We'll do it when we do it.
Kirk, we're not judging you.
No.
Openly.
I haven't been to a concert since before the pandemic, so I'll be the first one back. So I'm looking forward to live music and people again. Should be good.
Should be good. So, for Chris, Kirk, and John, you guys got anything to wrap up with?
Nope. Just stick around after we end, and it'll play once, and then I'll go to the ending.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good long Labor Day weekend, and we will see you next week.